Peace and blessings, family, Sister Ajali. Oh, well, we just finished our end of the month fast and I'm feeling phenomenal. If a little bit like I'm not weak or anything because we do juices through our fast, but at the same time, I might be a little bit more blunt today, okay? Anyway, this is going to be fast. And I'm shocked I didn't do this share before this, but I had to get back to my writing instead because I want to stay focused. These dudes are throwing everything at us in order to deflect us individually from our long-term plans. And to, if you feel as if you can't exist without the devil, it's going to affect you a lot more. But if you know the best is on its way and a lot of it's already here, then you just know this is the time to hone your skills. This is the time to incorporate your plans and get to work. And so I want to thank Sister Angela Riley. I doubt she even listens to my channel, but that's okay because I'm just one of the folks. She is Brother Yapo Yapa's queen, and they're both tour de force writers. And the sister has been posting on a regular on Instagram, you know, how she has a goal of writing one sentence per day, and she has kept to her goal for over 2 years now, and I think like 10 months, something. And just seeing that, not that I can do like just, if I sit down and I just write one sentence, I am there for the whole day. And so that's a problem because the writing will conflict with all of my different chores that I have to do, which aren't chores. I love doing them. But seeing her posting, I was like, okay, I gotta stop my chores right now and get back to the writing. So I got back to it and I was like, oh my God, this story is amazing. So that's fresh in my just whole spirit. And now I can do this share without feeling guilty or bad because reading that story, I'm like, I've got to get that finished this year and get it to you. And I mean the first start of this year. So that all said, thank you, Sister Angela and Brother Yapo Yapa, for being such dedicated champions for our people. I love you, and we hear you. Okay, now, wow, let's just get right to it, because I got so much stuff for you that this is going to be a blistering share. Wow. And in order to have the just theme of what I'm sharing just make perfect sense, I want to start out with this. 10 people who are in love with inanimate objects. I don't know if you could see the whole screen, but I want to emphasize that what I'm here about is just to say we're separate people. Cutting a check ain't going to change this. 10 people who are in love with inanimate objects. In this article, I'm not going over to 10 people, but when I went to look up each person on this particular one, it was all white people. But there's no photos. There's no photos. But then when you come to this one, 10 bizarre romances between people and objects, suddenly, number 10, that's not the most bizarre. The first one is going to be the most bizarre, and that's all the way down at the end. So when you go through this, it's all white people. It's all white people. Boom, 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 boom. In love with a roller coaster. Japanese guy who married a huggable pillow, okay? She's in love with an oak tree. And this person just lists Bill Rifka. Yeah, that ain't us. Statue of Liberty, cars. It's just disgusting. Number 1 is this dude. And I know by now most of us have run into Dave Cat. And then I also did a share on another guy who married a blow-up doll where they are trying to just slowly infest us with their mindset, which is separate to them. That's who they are. The only problem is that it is disastrously destructive, not just to us, but to the entire planet, including every single species that lives on it. For them, it is literally engineering reality. I'm surely not going to read this entire article, but it's very, very good. And you might have seen the documentary, or Century of Self. A century of cultural control, from Edison's monopolies to algorithmic manipulation. And yeah, I mean, this is such a long article because you could the whole thing is documented. Thank you very much, Joshua. I appreciate the work that he put in to just lay this in front of people so that somebody might come and say, oh, this is a real thing, where they gotta put this guy front and center when, like, I saw the excuses for Trump having no black people in his cabinet whatsoever. And number one, I know it's because he would need Procyon loaders like Candace Owens. And also like, whatever, they got plenty of Procyon loaders all over the place. And we're not on board yet. We haven't been socially engineered enough so that the new black is just being suck-ups and happy slaves. And so I noticed the excuse people were giving for that was, oh, but what's the percentage of black people in the United States? And so that would attribute, because it was even at the inaugural, the amount of black guests that were there were almost insignificant. And so people were trying to explain in a way, saying percentage-wise. Well, percentage-wise, how many Dove cats or Dave cats are walking around the world? I would say him and the other dude I did the share on, they're the only daggone ones. So percentage-wise, why do they put us front and center of all their wokery mess? So that they could rope us together and then eliminate DEI altogether, as if whatever happened to just plain old affirmative action, right? Even though that's what they did originally with the white women, not this one. They created feminism so that they could just stuff a woman who marries our oppressor and is our oppressor's partner, and the tyranny of it all, to black us, as if white women are a separate minority. No, we got to make a clean break with the notion of what counts as a distinct and unique group. It's not a, advocacy or a, political party. It's a separate people capable of reproducing themselves. The homosexuals aren't capable of that. Definitely the trans sutured up folks ain't capable of that. And white women all by themselves, they're not capable of that either. We are a distinctive people. That's how you can make a clean understanding of what genocide is and what overall is my point to prove they mean that genocide towards black, you and me, and they have just had to come up with this constricted, complicated method of doing what they've always done to us. So they don't have the Chinese guy at number one, even though at least the Dave Cat guy, his unnatural, freaky, obsession looks like what a woman's supposed to look like. So that, in a really degenerate way, says you're supposed to be with a woman. But this guy up here is with a giant friggin' manga pillow, anime pillow. And this wouldn't be freakier than Dave Cat? No, that's because we are the target. No other race of people on the planet are set up for the attacks, the defamation that we are. Where, the things I've learned about Asian people, but let me not get into that because I'll be here all week. So you could see the setup. After a while, once you fully understand that there is no redeeming any completely separate from your own behavioral, just, instincts, there's no changing another group of persons who their behavioral nature, their instincts are a wholly different motivation. You cannot find a place on the planet where there's going to be a large contingent of black folks, unless they've been worked on thoroughly by white people, who are going to be confessing their love of inanimate objects. It's just not going to happen, right? But they will twist it as best they can into, no, it's all about the black people, when that's just not true, right? And so you can know what they're up to and how they're up to once you understand they're always up to it. And so this one here, outrage over coward NYPD officers who did nothing as illegal migrant burned woman alive on subway. That's crazy. That is a psyop, a false flag, whatever you want to put it at. I'm not saying somebody wasn't burned. These dudes don't mind killing folks, even their own. They have done that historically. I'm just saying it's for a purpose. And this is the purpose right here. This is just a confession, right? These people are never going to come out because it's not their instinct to destroy themselves. They're never going to come out and confess, we're coming for you, black folks, right? They'll do stuff like this so they could stoke the clueless. I mean, they prefer ignorance, because if they learn too much, it hurts them. The truth actually hurts them. And so they'll stoke the dumb fidelity of white people like this woman right here, who she saw that, and then she's not going to ask any questions. She's not going to say, well, why was a police officer not doing anything and a woman was burning to death? Goodness gracious, go get a friggin' bucket of water. I know you got a water bottle somewhere on you, maybe on that friggin', gun loop. And douse her, do something. There's got to be fire extinguishers all around the daggone place, on the drain even. But such an entity is not going to, maybe after all of that came out, maybe she was paying attention, but I doubt it, because she loves her guns just like they do. As I say, that's the white man's partner. Okay, a lot of the motivation he has for what he does is because he's scared to death and also just worn out by his own woman. I'm not saying every white man's like that, but feminism wouldn't exist without these ladies. Okay? There she is. I never even played this. I am rehumanizing myself. HUE. Okay? Where I avoid just graphic violence and carnage. And I find the more I do that, the less I could tolerate it. The more it's just an automatic reflex where I'm like, you're not supposed to not take life as sacred. Right? And for Daily Mail to keep using this friggin' term glamorous for violent white women, or usually that's all they did. I saw once where they referred to a black woman or whatever. But ordinarily, if we do something violent, we're monsters. I remember once they had a headline where they put, we were gorillas in the mist. It was during the riots where they conveniently had bricks on pallets laid out. I don't remember which poor black person they had shot that year, but there was all these things in the streets and they were providing bricks because that's what they wanted. They sent agent provocateurs in to make sure they get carnage going, because that's what they need to keep us from building and to hide that damn ocean. But I'm going to definitely get into all of that. What's this got to do with California? Oh, everything. Everything. Where I've seen persons, good people, and some I know 100% you are an operative, talking about, and as I say, lots of good people also came to this conclusion that This was a land grab, and I'm serious about the good people who made that conclusion, probably based on the operatives who were coming out there saying it's this, it's that, this, because it was obvious, and I went over it when I was talking about the fires before, that it was a deliberate conflagration, if that's the right word. But what I found really interesting, because I know it's not a land grab, and they had this photo. And what does all of this have to do with the fires? Everything. Because there is a target, and that's Black us, and it requires, because they have to, in order to encourage their own white brethren to have no more white guilt for what they're doing right now, they have to make it seem like we are the truth is on their side, and that we are the new wokery on fire, and thereby they're going to just, in their strategizing, Hella Weird has been a failure, an utter and complete failure. That's what all of those, like with Jada Pinkett, when she was walking around looking in really disheveled, ugly clothing that she would never be seen in, as if she had been doped up to the nines, right? And with Melania Trump, same thing, but I'll go over her more later. The Hella Weird was an utter failure in getting us to vote for Kamala Harris. And they're still trying to get us stuck with the DEI, wokery, even though that's not the real us, but they don't give a damn. As long as they can establish a stereotype that clueless them will run with, oh yeah, oh, okay, then they will continue to justify actions that can only be described as predator mimicry, right? A whole set of life forms that are not their, prey that they are going after, but they will imitate certain behaviors or scents in order to fool their prey and make them think that they're friendly. Well, this is what they do, and their lives have gotten so unwieldy, they don't know how to hold them anymore. So they invented all the AI, and they got Donald Trump up there, but we'll keep on going. In the meantime, let's address this one with the blue bus. This bus here is very deliberate. It was just plastered all over the place, and whenever anything goes viral, or whenever it even has more than, I'd say, 25,000 subscribers, you gotta question its validity. You have to look at what aren't they talking about, on top of just, oh, they make some good points. Because for them to allow this out, these people are so powerful that they're going to be dithering over who did what, when, and where for goodness knows how long. They're so powerful, they built the Georgia Guidestones, and nobody ever was, we don't know who did it. And they're going to just have this boldly in everybody's face? No, they want people wondering what was going on. So there are folks saying, oh, it's like the Maui fires. And then they never analyze anything more about the Maui fires. That happened to Native Hawaiian people's neighborhoods who were well-to-do. Of course, I don't know. I don't want to speak bad about Native Hawaiian people. They've had a really rough time of things. But generally, with non-black, non-white people, they think they stand a hope of bowing down to the white people, and that they're going to forgive them because you hold your little teacup and all the different utensils on the table, and you go shopping at Burberry's or something, that the white people are going to forgive you. Hell no, they never will. These were the Hella Weird folks. This is not a land grab because this joint is radioactive, and I'll go over that in the meantime. But first I want to show you another non-black, non-white group of people Who got thrown under the bus? Now, these two guys, I'm not going to say very much because I do get good information from their channel every now and then, but I got to hold my nose while I'm listening to their broadcast because they take so much delight in their China analysis, where I'll also look and see what they're not talking about. And then also, they're just like over the top with, oh, America, America's so fantastic, it's wonderful. And every now and then they'll come in and they'll say, well, you know, it's not perfect, but then the Chinese are so bad. This is controlled opposition. Right? This is where what they do in manufacturing reality is giving folks an enemy. The Chinese do it too. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm not going to play this, but this is just, you know, this is a Japanese flag. This is the image I've seen more of, but that could be because these different, like, telling the truth about China channels I watch, they're not going to say a day. I noticed they say not a word about the other particular place. I'm just saying, all right? But there they are. This is a regular just thing they're doing now. Stomp on the Japanese flag. And this is the nice things that they do because just like the Western nations, they're going to give the people bread and circuses, as in the Roman arena, where you just throw stuff at them so that they can be completely distracted. And these people love their distractions. So these guys were deliberately blaming the Chinese. After the fire, there will be opportunities. I didn't watch this one because I just knew it was going to be so repulsive that I don't like lies against any people, any nations, anywhere. I don't like lies. And there you go. Is China behind the Hollywood fires, episode 247, whatever. Okay, I'm just saying, no, they're not. Look at them, just like, yeah, here's why wokeism will be the downfall of America. But they put black you and me front and center of this. Because before I even get into the crux of it, let's go over what Trump is doing. I'm so glad I didn't vote for him. I didn't vote for Kamala. Because you can't give me two demons and I'm going to pick, oh, which is the better demon, as if that's some sort of choice. No, it's not. No, it's not. I choose what the Most High gave us as a choice, which is separation. Wherever I am, I got nothing to do with a whole nother species of people. I'm just saying, if you're not that other species of people, as in you are a predator mimic, then I'm not talking about you. But are you? Which principality are you beholden to? So major government agency responds furiously after Trump's late night purge as it issues thinly veiled threat. This is wild, where Trump is firing independent watchdogs over all of these different agencies, including the nuclear, I don't know if it's nuclear, it's the energy department, right? He's firing 17 inspector generals. This is a story that most people aren't going to pay attention to. They're, oh, inspector generals, what, huh? Dr. Shi stunned me because he says, you actually read the articles. And I was like, yeah, doesn't everybody? He said, no, right? They don't even go and check for what's happening. And so these inspector generals are independent, supposed to be independent. We know it's not, but they're more controllable if they're not there at all, okay? And so this way, even when it comes to nuclear issues, because the same thing that Sam Brinton was in charge of, this is the way they figured out that, well, we could put anybody we want up in there and they'll do what we tell them to do, and these inspectors won't call them out on it. And so China isn't saying anything about Fukushima whatsoever. And let's go over the data that is overly abundant that these dudes will never ever mention. Oh, and don't let me forget to just document that many of these major publications, when they say there's a separation between the West and China, I suspect that Trump is going to try to keep the CCP from falling apart at a free fall rate, which it is right now, right? Don't believe the hype. There's plenty of hype out here on Instagram coming from black folks that I'm looking at you and I'm like, okay, you're either not doing your research or you're getting paid a little bit by the Chinese, right? I think Trump is going to, because they need China to get into Africa. Because they don't need all the Africans to be on board, because Mozambique and the Congo are kicking those Chinese businessmen's behinds. I won't make a joke right now, all right? But that's not getting out into the major media at all, that these Chinese entrepreneurs go in there and treat them like crap, like dog crap. And they're tired of that. But as long as they've got the political elites, the African ones, they don't give a damn. There's a way too much materialism going on in Africa. I'm just making an observation. Those are ancient societies. But that's how they get that political class to agree with the extermination of their people, even if they don't know. If you're going to be a leader, you should be leading. All right. So here with Daily Mail, the best inventions of 2024 from Tesla's futuristic robo-taxi. Oh my goodness gracious. They watch too many science fiction movies. Real, like Uber drivers and taxi drivers, if there are any left anymore. There will be no human drivers whatsoever. The elites just want a clean slate where they can control where we go, how we get there. If they don't like us going there, they just send in the data and shut that engine down. Okay? Or even explode the lithium ion battery inside. I'm just saying, we got to do more research. And so with the Huawei trifold phone, really? You're saying this is the best invention? That's not what the Chinese are saying. Huawei made XT3 market collapse. Why the foldable phone flopped overnight. Right? Foldable phone fiasco. Huawei, foldable phones, all hyper fragile build. Customer screen issues exposed. Huawei's mobile phone is 3 times the price of iPhone 16, but is technically 5 years behind. And I could just go on down the list. This is, and like, are these actors, all of them? Right? If they didn't document the different issues and the responses they got back from Huawei when they tried to get their phones repaired, and Huawei was just like, go take a hike, then maybe, but no, these are real issues. But not if you're being paid by the Chinese, right? So Daily Mail ain't saying nothing about Fukushima either, except the lies. Just add to it, Huawei's new trifold phone broke in a day, glitches abound, a chorus of complaints, mass returns. Even the scalpers, they went out and bought them up the first day they were released, and the next day they lost everything, just about. So let's see what we're dealing with here. This is the projection map I've showed a million times from the National Oceanic Atmospheric Agency. I've showed it so many times. I had on my other channel, they took down over 1 million views. I'm quite sure there were more than enough people who saw this that they could put it all together themselves. Here's the date stamp right here. Here's just 3 isotopes of radiation coming out. And where's it going to? Bam! To the West Coast. To the West Coast. These were the hottest isotopes of the 3 they studied. There were plenty more that were even worse. What did they say? Well, I'm just staying over here in Japan. No, they blam! Went right on over there, covered the entire planet. The Nuclear Test Bomb Treaty Organization said within, like, I think a couple months, it was in both hemispheres, not just in the northern hemisphere. And I know I definitely didn't put this sucker together, okay? This is the International Atomic Energy Agency, and if by chance you've read The Crime of Chernobyl, you know how despicable that agency is. You need these global systems in order to pull off genocide, okay? But these are tests of all the radiation that is heating up the planet. When they try to make fun of climate change, they're making fun of the fact they're blaming it on people's cars, right? Blaming it on carbon, when carbon is really, really good. But they never mention this. And the reason why it's got so daggone cold this winter in places it was never cold before is because the polar ice caps are melting. When you add ice cubes to a glass of water, it doesn't get hotter. It gets colder. But the ice cubes aren't freezing up more. They're melting. That's exactly what all of this stuff is doing to our planet. And so when you look for the place where they took the most samples, God dang, it's over here in Japan, 32,224 samples. I probably can't. I just clicked on it. I can't even get all those samples. They would have to down. Well, there we go. Oh boy, oh boy. Look at all the stuff that came right on over and slammed into the U.S. because most of it was getting blown over to us. So this right here, this is an evacuation attempt on their part. Their social engineering, using the homeless, using so many different methods, including making us think it's a land grab. No, they're already putting the word out, and they're going to make it seem like, well, we were just trying to be reasonable, and we told you that this wasn't a land grab. This wasn't the blue bus. You guys are such paranoid conspiracy theorists invented by a CIA person. Oh, did I say that? Okay, real estate star gives grim prediction for the future of LA as he reveals why homeowners will never return after fires. That's what they want. But they cannot tell all them clueless white people the truth about what's going on, because then that would sink the boat. That's what we want, to sink the Pacific boat into that radioactive truth. The truth about the Muirs dying, coming from an ocean blob. Now, some of what I'm going to share here, I'm going to thank, because I believe in thanking people if they assist in a large fashion in making my investigation easier and more informative for Black you and me. And so Kevin Blanche he was the first person to say that Fukushima, that was a death knell. Give it up, it's a wrap. Because I am in submission to the one and only, I know that's not the case, okay? But he came up with the term the blob, the ocean blob, because that's what's happening with the Pacific Ocean and lots of other stuff. And let me show you. This is one of the videos that I did for my old channel where I was going over, let's see now, where is that? That's 450, I'll come back. Okay, over the polio cases that the children in California were succumbing to. I realize I've learned so much more than I knew then, because I actually listened to this and I was just like, wow, no, it's vaster than that. But doctors probe polio-like illness in California children. And this is back in 2014. Nobody was talking about flaccid myelitis happening to children back then anywhere else but in California. And with Lieutenant Sims, who served on the Ronald Reagan sailing vessel. It was, I don't know, it was a big one. And they positioned it right in the middle of the plume, 1 mile off of Fukushima, when it blew up. They were like, should we get out of here? And they're like, no, stay to save people and not yourself, right? And so they had so many issues that I've gone over in great detail. And paralysis, that's something that radiation causes. If there's something that could go wrong with the body, radiation will cause it. I don't know if this gentleman is alive or dead. I don't know if he was racist or not racist. All I know is it's just one daggone planet, right? We could figure out a way to work this out later on, but not without a planet. And so this one is the largest die-off of Muir birds. They call them penguin-like. I don't really see them as penguin-like, but oh well. In history, that's that radiation. This definitely ain't the jab. And it's not coronavirus either, okay, which they're going to resurrect along with all the masks. They just want epic madness because then they could do and say whatever the hell they want. So the other person I wanted to thank for providing the information and give it to me selectively, and Organic Slant, I credit him for continuing to share the data about Fukushima and man-made radiation. He has really been highly informative. So I thank him for that. Now, with this, what a coincidence, the EPA shuts down RadNet during Palisades fire. I was like, no, really? Get the heck out of here. Dude did that research. I even went and collected the data myself because I was like, is he for real? And you can go and find it yourself. I verified that this is from actually RadNet. But I want you to notice that the fire started on the 7th, and in the morning of the 9th, they shut them suckers down. They shut these devices, this equipment, which is very high tech, monitors the levels of radiation in the prevailing atmosphere. They shut it down. That's not something that they do. And on top of them shutting it down, Trump was hesitating going on over there. It very much reminded me of his hesitation during the Orange Sky fires. And I did a whole share about this one also, where Trump, during those fires, ordered the radiation sniffing helicopters to fly over Washington, D.C., because dude knows about the radiation. And he wanted to make sure that, because the wind, it's going to come on over, right? He wanted to make sure that it was safe to go outside. I'm guessing on whether it's safe to go outside, but he put them helicopters up in the air to sniff the radiation. And so suddenly he goes on over to Tennessee instead. And Melania, oh, so much about Melania. And Melania gets to get pictures taken of her looking so like she gives a damn. You didn't know about Tennessee when it happened? I reported on that. It had to have been about a month back when that hurricane came in there and the floods came in and it destroyed a nuclear power plant. People's boots are melting reportedly. That's radiation. It's hot. Peace and blessings, family. Sister Ajali, I am really excited about doing this share because I finally this was a video I did so long ago, and oh my goodness, I really was excited. Yeah, but why I was excited was because I was talking about the ASEAN plenary session. Now, this is an Asian organization akin to, I don't know, one of them global G7 or something or whatever. But they happen to have this white dude on there. That's his name right there, Martin Fackler. He was, I don't know if he still is, the head bureau chief for the Tokyo branch of the New York Times. And woo, talk about a friggin' bought out rag there. All right, so the ASEAN Nuclear Forum is a gathering of leading nuclear scientists, engineers, policy analysts, and public intellectuals from around the world. And what did Martin Fackler do when he got on up in there? Let's see if I'm going to catch him talking right here. Excuse me.
Bureau Chief, and the title, as we just heard, was Challenges and Opportunities After the Fukushima Nuclear Disaster. Now we're going to look at the other side of the nuclear coin, if you will, which is civilian nuclear use, this crisis management, and the question of what do you tell your public? You know, I mean, do you tell them that there's a serious nuclear accident, or do you play it down? Do you try to cover it up?
Mm-hmm. Do you try to cover it up? Yep. Always just absolutely, that's what they do. And so they got these stories that are just as ridiculous. Surgeon catches cancer for patient in first of its kind case. They are going to look for any way to explain the massive amount of people getting cancer right now. But I told you about that so long ago. I'm not saying I was the only one. No, I wasn't. I wouldn't. The white anti-nukers would be scared to even mention my existence. I'm just saying, I prefer it if they don't. Because I'm about separation. I'm not about annihilation, okay? So they, tried to get away with this one for a little bit where they were like, oh no, it's just a bunch of random homeless guys who were just, oh, I wish they'd stop setting fires. All on the same day, dude? All on the same day? No, right? And one of the windiest days ever, they want to blame the power lines, right? I watched another video where a bunch of black, everybody in the room was black. It was a beautiful thing, but at the same time, I look at everything and I wonder, that's convenient, okay? Because they want us invested in all of this. And so he said he heard a pop, pop, pop noise. And then the smoke came and the fire was started. He had to get out. And this was supposedly even before the 7th or something or whatever. There's so many complications, layer upon layer upon layer, right? But he assumed it was the electrical circuits, but he didn't witness. He wasn't giving a witness that he saw what happened. No, so they want to blame the power lines. There's power lines all over the friggin' planet with much drier conditions, with plenty of bramble and bric-a-brac around to burn, and they ain't burning like that. And so this photo here of Trump's oath of office, where this isn't, I saw some white people, oh my God, swearing that this is the Quran or that Barack Obama had the Quran, and it was just ridiculousness. No, it's actually like 2 Bibles. One was Lincoln's something or other. But anyway, what I find really disturbing, but not in the way that they intended to be disturbing, is Melania's or whatever, Melanie, whatever the heck, her hand. Oh my God, let's just zoom in on that hand. I mean, dang. And I have to add this in, but notice it's labeled a Getty image. They're claiming ownership over whatever Photoshop AIing they did to that hand. Can you say Photoshop with a demon hand? Because people know it's the last days. And they do bow down to Satan. But I would say that that's Photoshop. That's just like with Moses and the tricks that Pharaoh used to pull in order to keep control of everybody and everything. This ain't nothing but some daggone AI. So that they know there'll be people out there freaking out. There'll be some people thinking that this is Melania, whatever the heck her name is real hand. And no, it's not. I saw another photo where they were just standing there and everything was fine. I'm not going to bother looking for it because I look for so much stuff. But yeah, her hand was a normal size. But what was really abnormal was this friggin', funeral director outfit where you couldn't even see her eyeballs. That's because she went through her own trial where at Jimmy Carter's funeral, and my condolences. I don't wish anybody any, death or whatever, but he made it a good long time. That's great, right? But at the funeral, she looked like crap. She looked like crap. This is I don't necessarily have to call her vain, but I would imagine just based on the trajectory of her life, that it would be almost impossible for her not to be vain, because that's not really even her face to begin with. Okay? This is a woman who is about style and about the messaging in her clothes. And so this outfit here and her hair, all this. Remember how they were making fun of Megan? They never stop, and I couldn't care less until I see her black family again. I am scared for them. And so I think she a part of something that just involves her entire black side of her family. But they were like, oh, it's a messy bun that she had because she needed to get some serious acidic corrosion going on through her skull into her brain in order to have that stuff lie down the way that it does these days. All right, that's probably better for her so she doesn't realize that they never stop dragging her. Go have at her, white people. She all yours. But this with the collar also, they are also pushing nonstop orgies, just like, I mean, like the women, the starlets walking around with the panties. That's another reason why they burned hella weird. They are, doing the double speak, where if they tell you the sky is purple, they wanted to get to the point where you're literally going to believe the sky is purple. This woman, in my conclusion, had been ritually prepared to take on a role as a conduit for the nothingness, because that's all it is. And so one of the other things they were saying about all of this is that Trump, he didn't put his hand on the Bible because it's his second term, and that's not what they do. But first term, second term. First term, second term. And, this does make me wonder about that little red book right there, because I have to say, what's going on, okay? But what, you think Obama? They want to make it seem like Obama's running the thing, and they're having... these guys ain't never been married, okay? They've never been married. We all know from Jeremiah Wright's church what Obama's about. And Michelle, she is just a pinup girl. She was there to be married off to anybody they wanted to insert wherever they wanted to, who would be gay. I'm just saying, that's my firm conclusion based on the reportage. But then with the one eye thing going on, this is Trump and Melania at their wedding. Why in the world this is from Daily Mail. Why in the world did Daily Mail have to pick this one photo with the one eye and it's red? It's because they're satanic, right? And they do this also just to give us stupid stuff to talk about, which I'm spending hours doing. Because here, the peanut gallery, I conclude 100% that's what this whole stupid thing was about. Because it made no damn sense. Him with the one eye. Really, that is a really hard pose to get into right there, where you're smiling and you're leaning and you got the one eye closed and the other one and peanuts all up on your shoulder. Nah, come on. Just like with this dude at the Olympics. This a man. We all know it's a man. I'm sorry you have some sort of, according to them, the truth tellers, right, okay, you have some sort of extra gene going on there, okay? No. Why are you going to put this up over your one eye? That's because the whole thing is just scripted out. This the way to say, I did it. So when they have these stories where it's a cancer sufferer holds iconic funeral for her amputated arm, is to normalize what should never be considered just matter of fact, right? But these dudes, they're out there. They're not doing any real in-depth investigation. In the black community, I'm it. Even the white anti-nukers, they don't analyze this way. Okay? The broader ramifications of what the hell's going on, which reminds me, this right here. On top of Melania's AI friggin' grisly satanic hand, I noticed the color arrangement. Red, black, and green. This is like the one with the bunny rabbits pulling down the Christmas lights. Fluffy white little bunny rabbits out in the wild pulling Christmas lights down in Texas. And they had colors in the Daily Mail that were strategically red at the top, black, and green. That's what I said. That's what these people do. They send messages all the time because this is an easier way of communicating for them. They're doing what we used to do with the drumming and with the smoke signals, right? And then just coming out and saying, yo, black people, we coming for you on Saturday at 3:15 p.m. Be there, be square, right? Like us. I'm just saying. It's going, and so this stuff is going everywhere. It's acidifying our entire planet. It goes to the waters, as I showed, not that it's not on the land with the IAEA map, but it is attracted more to water. So that's why you'll see stuff popping off in Florida. And they try to hide it. I think at this point in time, I don't know, no, because the BP oil spill that happened before Fukushima. So that was just their technology falling to pieces. But all these nuclear power plants, they're killing the balance of natural fresh water. And what Musk, with his Nazi salute, we know what it is. As I say, these people, they obfuscate stuff so they could insert it more. But Musk's straight arm gesture embraced by right-wing extremists, it's theirs, regardless of what he meant. Of course not. It's this chick. Okay? Where the mindset, no matter what, this is what they want to do. When you destroy not just black people, but the entire friggin' planet. Oh my God, let me get that photo. This is from an old channel that I used to watch, China Insights. They're not there anymore. I think they were taken over by the CCP. But here's a photo of, and it was a video of them testing crabs during the whole scandal-endemic thing. Crabs do not have lungs. They do not get coronavirus, even though there's like billions of them that are dead in the Pacific Ocean. That reminds me of another thing with these guys, like right here, the E&E News headline, January 29, 2017. These were actual headlines that they've now scrubbed. Government declares disaster over disease and dying fish on U.S. West Coast. Sudden unexpected large decreases in populations. Scientists mystified, stumped. Officials, environmental disaster, devastating, alarming, dire. Right? That's what they're saying about the epic rise in colon cancer. That they even have their graphs. I've showed it before. If you watch bunches of my videos, you're going to learn as much as you need to learn. You are going to learn enough that you cannot be fooled anymore. All right, so that's what they're saying with the colon cancer rises among the youth, is that it's a mystery. We don't know. And then because it's human beings and we start to take it seriously, we wake up a little bit and we say, wait a minute, right? Then they start trying to come up with all these reasons, just like with the fires, the microplastics, which are everywhere. But the rate of cancer spiked on the West Coast. Of course it did. That's what radiation does. This is science. I'm not speaking mysticism here, even though I bow down to the one and the only. Okay? Yeah, these are things. Matter of fact, let me get the book list. I have to update this, but this is pretty it'll get you right, okay? So page 1, page 2, and page 3, page 4, just pause it and then you can read the whole thing. Page 5, and this I have down is page 6, or I don't know. As I said, I got to make corrections on it, and it takes time because I had to type out all of these titles, and if you've done videos and memes and all the rest, So, or forget all of these and just get this one, because this one has what none of these have, which is up-to-date remedies. The only thing I need to add to this, and I'm going to tell you right off the bat, make sure you get plenty of manganese, because that supports the full function of your superoxide dismutase, which is the coating around every single one of your cells, and so that the radiation bombardment doesn't get in and destroy the DNA, so that you have mutations and all kinds of disorders that, well, their playbook is so easily understood when you're examining the full science, the full historical just monotony of what they do, that really this blue bus right here, you could just take the inauguration picture with Melania's AI generated demon hand and just put it right in there. It's the same hocus pocus, just menagerie that acting as predator mimics where their goal is destruction, they always wind up playing. And, you know, I was talking with Dr. Shi, and it's possible there could be people who are completely clueless, because most people are, who will buy this property. And it could be the Chinese who buy this property. That doesn't change the science that it's a radioactive exclusion zone, and they know it. I thank you if you have watched this video all the way through. I tried to make it as fascinating as possible. It should be, as far as I'm concerned, because we will jump as soon as we hear a hint about some lead poisoning. We are right up on it. And lead is in no ways deadly like one atom of radiation. If you've ingested it or breathed it in, it is scientifically guaranteed to take you out, cause you massive debilitations, okay? And so, yeah, I don't know why trying to find the methods that I've researched in great detail and for years and years and years and years and years now, why you wouldn't want to find out about that and protect yourself and your family, all right? So go on over 25,000yearcycle.org, where your healing is just going to be so much easier once we stop believing these dudes are the cure for everything, when everything they do is about destruction. Oh my goodness, you are going to be amazed at the real you that they would never introduce you to. So you come on over here, and you've been to enough websites, I'm pretty sure by now. I'm just saying, I don't mean to be catty. Like I said, it's, you know, I've been fasting for a while. And you're going to find all of Dr. Shi's amazing formula. Brother never ever stops. I can't even mention the stuff that he's doing now, because only he understands it on the depth that he does. And sometimes if I say about the other stuff that he's making right now, he's like, no, don't talk about that. But his products are composed to work using natural remedies, using organic ingredients. And I would say they're pretty much all organic, but you know, I don't want to, like I said, I don't want to speak on his behalf more than I know specifically. But he's got my products up here, the Silk Hair Cream, which is amazing, which reminds me to thank you, Sister K, for buying the book Furnace of Affliction. I know by now you got it, even though you're over in California. Oh, sis, how I hope you can get on off of there, okay? I'm just saying, you're so beautiful. You came through, you've been watching one video after another, and I'm like, wow, another brother, good brother. He said he hasn't seen me for 5 years, and he came looking for me, and gratefully he found me over on IG, and then found out that I still got this channel up here for the moment. And but anyway, where was I? So thank you to both of you for that. It was wonderful. And for everybody, when you subscribe, you leave comments. Even if the one thing you can trust about me is that if there's something you say that I'm like, nah, I'm going to do my best, especially if you're polite. I'm going to be polite and disagree with you, but I love you. I still love you. That's what families do, right? Especially the best families. They don't hold stuff in and just kind of go with it. No, I'm not that kind of person. So when you leave your comments, when you subscribe, even more so when you share this data, it's incredible how just grateful I am to you, because when you kill oceans, you lose, because you're not just killing black people, you kill everybody, okay? So yeah, I'm grateful for you. And so yeah, you can come on over here, and let's see, how do I keep going? Because I know my face is somewhere over there. And get my products too. And you can, behind me, there's a little Let's Chat button, and you can make an appointment to talk with Dr. Shi about whatever is keeping you from reaching that real you, okay? So thank you for caring about yourself, your family, our communities, and our planet. Because the Most High said, all we have to do is ask for it back, and he will give it to us. That's a victory. I love you. Straight black pride, and we are on the right road already. Peace and blessings.